What's up, YouTube? Wolf190D back with another location for those altars of Lilith. And my apologies, I think in my previous video I was calling them Lilith shrines, altars, shrines, altars, shrines. Hey, maybe somebody can explain the difference between the two. But this time I'm going to go ahead and focus in on the Scosglen portion of the map. Now, if I were to zoom in, bump it in one, I think the top portion of my screen here sort of covers up the northernmost expanse. So what I'm going to try to do is start there, work my way around. Karagar being, of course, the reference point, the primary reference point. Cain Adar is sort of, it's not a stronghold area, actually. Cain Adar. Yeah, Cain Adar. It's not a stronghold area, but I do believe some of the world bosses show up over here. But there are a couple, let's see here, there's 3 strongholds to make note of. Those are also going to be reference points because there are typically, at least in my experience, there have been so far altars of Lilith in those stronghold areas as well. So we have Turdolra, there's a couple over there. We also have, where is it? We have Mordain Lodge, there's one in there. And then, where's that last? Oh yes, Hope's Light. The last one is Hope's Light. There's one in the far north by Hope's Light. Okay, so you're going to have the flooded depths up there, but there is the one in Hope's Light. And there's also one in the vicinity of that on the northernmost coast. It's going to be on this little curvy spit. It comes out on the shoreline. There's another one up there. So, as always, I do recommend doing these. Because, again, they benefit all of your characters. And there are 34 in total to find in Scosglen. So you have the Vault of the Forsaken, or actually it's really close to the Penitent Cairns. And it's on that little, it's in that little nodule off of that impassable area there. You also have 2 more in the vicinity of Merowyn. All right, trying to use waypoints on the map because I know I tracked this down with just a picture where somebody had marked a map. I wasn't able to zoom in far enough, at least not on my phone. So I'm going to try to make that a little bit easier for folks. This one, do not try to get to this one from Turdolra. You might want to come from Merowyn, be the best way to do that. Come from Merowyn, cross down into from the north shore down into the deep forest, and it's right there in the northern part of that. This other one is in Turdolra, though. Not entirely sure if you have to start clearing this out in order to access that. I think so. A couple of these stronghold ones are like that. You have to actually start the stronghold before you can get into it. Otherwise, there's like an impassable bit of rubble that you can only get rid of or jump over or pass once those strongholds are underway. So coming around, I'll just continue coming around counterclockwise here. You have Scosglen, you have the Firebreak Manor. There are 3 within the vicinity of Firebreak Manor. One of them is going to be closest to these 2 dungeons, Demon's Wake and Broken Bulwark. And if at any point, hopefully I'm not going too fast that pausing it doesn't work, but you can pause this at any point. And I'm trying to zoom in to give you better locations. So there's Karagar right there, one to the south of that, one in the vicinity of Saret's Lair. Okay, and these are in the Downs. Incidentally, if you're looking for a location on the map, maybe you haven't discovered the entire map. There's 2 that you can get while you're doing missions, the Fields of Blood or whichever mission that is. And then, of course, Old Stones, there's one over there next to that. And then in the Highland Wilds, over by the Fat Goose Inn, if you have that waypoint, there are 5. Yes, 5 in the vicinity of that one. One close to Maddox Watch. There's one over near the Hive, and there is one right next to the Whispering Pines. And then the other one here is on the transition between the Highland Wilds and the Shrouded Moors, which is where you find the tree where that half a druid had been pegged to it by Lilith. And there is one while you're over there doing that mission. Okay, and there's also one over near the Overgrown Outpost, which is just like one of those little cellar dungeons. And then if you have Tirmere, there is one right in the vicinity of that, between Tirmere and Alderwood. Okay, again, one over there in Mordain Lodge, but also if you're looking around, if you've got the Mariner's Refuge, there's one in that stretch, and there is also two within easy reach of Korbach. So you have one in the on the again close to the North Shore. It's not on the shoreline. You have to come off of the shore and go around that little point, but it's right up in there. Then you have another one right here next to Lubin's Rest, or Luban's Rest, however you're supposed to pronounce that. Wraithwind Wilds, there's one right next to that, so easy enough to find if you are using these waypoints. Braced there is one between Braced and if you're on your way up to the Vault of the Forsaken, and then of course almost in the northernmost reaches of the Wailing Hills, you have another one right there to pay attention to. I think that covers all of those, except for maybe right here on Karagar. This one is on the southern spit if you're running around outside of Karagar on the west side, and then of course there's one right through this little maze-like area here. Okay, and that one's right there on the map if you're trying to pinpoint these a little bit more accurately. So anyway, that covers the Lilith Shrines in Scosglen. I hope you find this helpful and informative. As always, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time, YouTube. Till then.